That's a good girl. Hi, I'm Steve Thompson, president of Emery Thompson Machine.
I'm Christi Brown, vice president of sales and marketing of Emery Thompson Machine.
And welcome to Questions Answered. Christi, I'm going to let you go first today. I'm a little long-winded, and if we run out of time, I want you to at least get your 3 questions in.
Well, that's okay, even if you did. So my first question is, if I add milk or cream to my dairy mix, does it enhance it and does it need to be pasteurized again? No. There's no reason to add the milk or cream to it. It's not going to enhance it. It's just going to make it a higher fat content as well as making it greasy. And you don't need to pasteurize it, obviously, because if you bought it at the store, it's already pasteurized, so you don't need to do that again. Now, if you were to go out on the farm and milk your own cow, then yeah, you would need to pasteurize it, but leave that to the pros. That's it for me. That was easy.
All right. My first one is multiple choices. What's your favorite scooper? Well, it depends on what you're scooping. Is it Italian ice? Is it dairy-free? Is it ice cream? My favorite ice cream one is the Z-Roll. It's got antifreeze inside it, and it scoops very easily. The old-time favorite scooper was this one. It's got a little bar that goes across, and that helps knock the ice cream out. But old-fashioned ice cream parlors usually have about 20 of these around in different stages of broken, and what they do in the wintertime is sit there all winter and try to repair them. If you're doing Italian ice, you want to use a spade, because what we do is let me grab, the gentleman's other question was what size Italian ice is. Well, this is a 3.5 ounce Solo cup. Solo makes these, and just so you'll know, it's called a pleated water cup, not a squeeze cup or an Italian ice cup, pleated like a lady's dress. And this is a Solo 3.5 ounce. It's number 450. And that's what it looks like. So when we put the ices in here, we scoop the ices and we put it in, and then we are shaving 2, 3, 4 sides and handing it to the customer. 3.5 ounce cup, but with it crowned over, it's 4 ounces. That's a nice big portion. And then no spoon, you're eating it, like that. You're scooping it up from the bottom. He also wanted to know about ice cream cups. This is a great one that I like. That's about a 5 ounce cup. Gelato Supply, gelatosupply.com sells these. It's a nice, beautiful, biodegradable. See how it's flared at the top? It's wider. It makes it easy to scoop into because it is wider as opposed to just a straight up and down. When you call Gelato Supply, if you use my company name in block letters, Emery Thompson, E-M-E-R-Y, they're going to give you an additional discount off of your order. Really good people. They also sell, let me reach over here, these. This is a liner for Italian ices, for ice cream gelato Italian ices. Instead of using the large, big tub that takes up a lot of space in a restaurant, you can use these and you can stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so the chef gets a lot more flavors. That's my first one.
Okay. Mine is, if you're making multiple batches, can you alternate using cold and warm water in rinsing the machine? Yes, you can, but why? If you're making multiple batches, there's no need to rinse in between the batches as long as you start with your lightest color first, starting obviously with vanilla, then strawberry, and then chocolate. If you do have a need to, if you use warm water, your cylinder is very, very, very cold. Warm water is okay, not hot water, but just room temperature and slightly warm. But when you do that, you're essentially resetting your freeze times, because if you're doing batch times back to back to back to back, or batches back to back to back, your freeze times will start getting just a smidge shorter as it goes because its cylinder staying cold and it's just going to keep getting colder. If you go to rinse it out with warm water, now you just brought the temp back down, so now you're going to make your batch time be what it was at the very beginning when you started up for the day. So just don't bother about rinsing unless you absolutely have to. Working with nuts, or if you started off with a dark flavor and then you need to go to a light, but stick with cold water when you go to rinse. That'd be best.
I've got Mike down in Palm Beach, and Mike is asking, how do I price my product for wholesale? Well, Palm Beach is pretty much like New York. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be higher than the rest of the country. I didn't know the answer to this one, so I contacted Malcolm Stogo of Malcolm Stogo Associates and Malcolm Stogo Ice Cream University. He is a world-renowned ice cream maker, gelato maker, and what answers I don't have for you, I get from Malcolm. And Malcolm says, in general, for this is a 6-liter container, and if you're doing gelato or ice cream in the Palm Beach market, in the New York market, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, you could probably get $42 retail for this. Now, if that was anywhere else in the country, you're going to get a little lesser price, so about $35. So when you figure your costs, mark it up to $42, or in a lesser market or less expensive market, $35. Now, if you're doing Italian ice, the same container, the first thing I would do is get rid of the name Italian ice and call it fresh fruit sorbet, the French word sorbet for water ices. Italians call it sorbetto. It certainly sounds a little more highbrow than Italian ice in a 5-star French restaurant. So sell it as sorbet. It's the same thing, only a higher price. And Malcolm says about $20 in the New York, Palm Beach, Chicago market, $18 everywhere else.
I didn't know that. All right. My last one is, if I only have 12% available, can I water it down the mix to 10% using a lower fat content milk? And would that cause me grief legally? Yes, most likely it will. 12% is pretty common. We're down south, very, very, very down south, and it's very hot here. So 10% is the norm for us, because the higher fat content, when it's super hot out, kind of makes you on the uneasy side. 12% is very common. Now, I happen to know this person is way up north, as north can get, and 12% is still very good. There's no reason to change the fat content. 12% is completely fine. Don't need to water it down.
You know, speaking of hot, and it's hot here in Florida, don't forget, Emery Thompson now sells the most fantastic hardening cabinet / blast freezer that you've ever seen. And it comes double door, dual compressors. It's a thing of beauty. So if your ice cream is melting in the freezing process by using the $800 chest freezers, it's time for you to step up to a hardening cabinet and give Christi a call, and we can tell you all about it. My last one is one that has been talked about before by Christi, but it keeps coming up, and it's really important. When we're using the Emery Thompson, you can put anything into the machine. You can put nuts, cookies, candies, the whole works. But sometimes you don't want whole candy bars in your machine. It's just a little too much to eat. So the first key thing, which Christi has mentioned before previously on this program, is you freeze the candy. By freezing it, when you put it through a blender, it's not going to turn into a gummy mush. So freeze it first. And then we keep talking about this one blender, and I promise you, we're not selling them. We're just so enthusiastic about it because it makes a big difference for your store, and that's the Ninja. The Ninja blender, you can get them for about $99. I don't have the body of it with me, but the key to it is this. That is the most dangerous, lethal thing that you have ever seen. It's got these razor blades that are spinning around, and it can completely pulverize candy canes, frozen candy bars, anything that you want in a matter of seconds. So keep it in mind, because we are very big on putting our flavors into the machine, so that if you were blindfolded and you taste it, you'd say, oh yeah, really, that's M&M Mars candy ice cream. You can't do that with other machines because everything has to be added on the outside. I think that's about it for this week. We'll see you next week, and thanks for tuning in. See ya.
Bye.